Joe, everybody. This one I wish I had a little bit of a quieter bike. Not to irritate the neighbors. Well, half of them. These guys don't mind. I want to tell you a funny thing I heard this weekend. So I went to a conference, and so it was a conference for pastors, church leaders, you know, people like that, ministry leaders of various types. And I was in Hudson, Massachusetts, which was a pretty cool little town. And as I reflect upon it, it was trafficy, kind of like where I'm from, at least the center. But as soon as you get out of the center, it was a real like country, like a lot of curvy roads and stuff. Now, I didn't take the bike. I had my wife with me and a bunch of other people actually. But it looked like a pretty good place for bikes. And I heard a lot of bikes when I was outside the facility. But anyhow, yeah, I heard a pretty funny story. It was so if you're ever in the Brooklyn area, so there was a pastor from Brooklyn there. He's been a pastor for like 35 years or something. Same church. And all those years, so he's a real good power of example and leadership and community development and all that stuff. So really decent guy. Everybody knows him. One of those guys. And but anyhow, he was riding around. He's been married a good long while to his wife. Yeah, maybe, was it 43 years perhaps? Was that the gentleman sitting next to him? But he's been married quite a while to his wife. And they were, you know, recently riding around their home city of Brooklyn. And they passed somebody his wife used to date many years ago. And the dude was having a rough stretch. You know, he was drugged out of his mind. He was sloppy looking. Just look bad, smell bad, you know, bad teeth, you know, living low, the high cost of low living, right? And the pastor looked at his wife and he said, and he's thinking to himself, pastor, 35 years, every Sunday someone comes to Christ, you know, driving a nice car, you know, an upstanding member of the community. Oh boy, is my wife lucky to have me. So he looks at her and says, aren't you glad you're not with that bum? You know? And he starts, you know, he lists off his accolades. Yeah, I've been preaching for 35 years. I know, you know, 100,000 people, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Everybody coming to Christ. And she said, if I was still with him, he'd be the preacher. 35 years, blah, blah, blah. And you'd be the bum on the street. So let's keep your ego in check. I thought that was pretty funny. But it does beg the question, or the thought rather, you know, where would I be? Where would any of us be without some of those pivotal everyday relationships that we have and that we perhaps take for granted, even the bad ones. Where would you be? Some people think, oh man, if it wasn't for that burden, you know, I grew up with, or blah blah blah, this is what I'd be doing this and that, and all my dreams would come true. But it's really impossible to say, isn't it? You know, maybe that burden is what makes a person strong or really gifted in a way they never would have been gifted. It's like the dude who's got to walk up 7 flights to get to his apartment every single day. You forget something downstairs, you got to run down 7 flights and up 7 flights. The man, if I only lived on the first floor or whatever. But you think about your legs, think about your stamina, you know, and the advantage you have over the you that never did 7 flights of stairs in a row. You know what I mean? So we don't know. We just don't know. Somebody grows up, I got a lot of like allergies in my family, like food allergies, gluten allergies, and all sorts of stuff like that. And you think about the trash that a lot of Americans eat. It's loaded with gluten and all that. Even the gluten, people who aren't who don't have a problem with gluten can have a problem with our gluten here, because of the way the food has just been systematically destroyed over the years. But, you know, so a lot of my family members who've had gluten allergies for many years, man, the food that we do eat is just great. You know, wouldn't have had the opportunity or wouldn't have had the need to stretch out and try something different. So, you know, it's disadvantageous, you know, when, you know, you're going to attend a wedding or something. Does anybody have any food allergies? And, like, you know, some people are like the only hand that snakes up, or you gotta like, or like someone brings something out, you have to explain every single time, well, I can't eat that because like what's in it is gonna mess me up. You know, it's like eating poison. You're having to explain that every time. But it does develop a certain character in the people who embrace that, their limitations, or their, you know, just these deflections that it's not really a limitation, it's just a deflection. It's like from the norm. So my family with the allergies and stuff, they're not limited. They have a whole world of food they can eat. It just doesn't contain gluten and stuff. You know what I mean? It's not really a limitation as it is like a redirection. Like, I can't have that, so I go way down the rabbit hole on all these cool food items that I never would have tried otherwise. So now I can eat gluten, and I do enjoy gluten, but I have to say, you know, gluten-free food has gotten better as far as like their facsimile for pizza crust and whatever. You can actually find one that's okay nowadays. Whereas, you know, when I first met my wife, it just wasn't a good gluten-free pizza crust. It did not exist. You know, same thing, like gluten-free baguette. Are you serious? But now there's a brand of gluten-free baguette it's really, really good. And it's almost has the consistency of like a Brazilian cheese roll or something like that. And so that's you choose to eat that, you know. That's good stuff. So anyhow, I don't even know what am I talking about, huh? But isn't my wife lucky to have me? No, I don't think that's where I was going with this. But anyhow, yeah, so embrace those limitations, folks. And you know, those people in your lives, even the ones you take for granted, who are the good people that seemingly have no influence, they're just there. Well, I think sometimes these people have more influence than I am aware. You know what I mean? And so that's just all I've been thinking about today a little bit, or a very small piece of what's floating around in the lava lamp of my brain today. And that's it. All right, guys, I care about you. Talk to you soon. Bye.